Hello, everybody. My name is Matthew Jacobs, President of Media Relations with Ohio Weather Specialist, and I'm joined by Jeremy Fabian. And this evening, we're going to be discussing the role of a sky-warned, trained spotter during severe weather days.
Hi, everybody. This is Jeremy Fabian. Once again, like Matthew said, I am CEO and founder of Ohio Weather Specialist. And we would like to go over with you about the roles of a trained skywarn spotter. One of the main goals and roles of a skywarn spotter is to actually give advance and early warning of severe and imminent weather.
That's correct, Jeremy. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, you go ahead, Matt. I'll let you give them a little bit of information as well.
So, just to briefly talk about why it is important to have the Skywarn program and spotters like Jeremy and myself in the field during severe weather days, we'll start with talking about radar. So, radar, quite simply, will send a pulse out, and anytime there's interference, it will bounce back. And that's how you detect any kind of heavy cloud, hail, heavy rain, or even rotation within a storm. But the limitation with radar is it spins in a 360-degree rotation. And depending on where the radar is located and how fast it goes around, it can take 2 to 5 minutes to update a radar. So if you think about a car traveling 65 miles an hour down a highway, think about how much ground it can actually cover between 2 and 5 minutes. It might not seem like a lot when you're talking about a car, but think about an F4 or an F5 tornado, 5 minutes past where it was before, and no way to get a warning from, let's say, Jeffersonville to Washington Courthouse, or from Convoy to Van Wert, if you're familiar with that part of the state. It is literally that much ground in 5 minutes if traveling 65 miles an hour. So, like we said, imagine a tornado traveling 65 miles an hour and covering that much ground, and that the people in between point A and point B not getting a warning, any kind of advanced warning, because the radar is doing a rotation and there's that lapse in radar, and now there are people that were uncovered and had no idea what was heading their way. That is why we have the Skywarn program and the spotters in the fields.
Very true. Very true. And ever since the Skywarn spotters training came out, the early warning system has improved so much from, I would say, the 1970s, 1980s. Now there are hundreds of thousands of trained spotters out there at all times. Whenever any kind of imminent weather occurs, whether it be a snowstorm, a flood, doesn't have to be a tornado or a thunderstorm, any kind of imminent weather at all, spotters are there to give that advance warning. And once that advance warning comes in, basically what the Skywarn spotter does is when they see something that needs to be reported, first thing they want to do is report it to all the authorities they can. The National Weather Service, your local law enforcement, your fire departments, EMA if you have their phone numbers. You want to get the early warning as quick as possible and let it reach out as far as possible, so that way it can save as many lives and structural damage as possible.
And I'm glad that you brought up the 1970s, Jeremy, because as we know, we've been discussing this lately with severe weather season, the super outbreak that hit, Xenia. Of course, everybody that lives in Ohio knows about the Xenia tornado. Actually led to, if you can believe this, because of the lack of radar, we got a better radar system in place. We also, with the advancements, have the Skywarn program, the the Storm Prediction Center came out of the lack of uh, coverage and lack of radar from the super outbreak. We also have Weather Ready Nation, the hazardous weather outlooks, NOAA radio. All of that came from a result of, and I want to say, and a lot of dates in my mind right now, but I want to say 1974 super outbreak.
You're actually correct. It was a 1974 super outbreak. I was waiting to see if you was going to get it. Yes, if I'm correct, the Doppler radar was actually brought into effect due to that outbreak at that moment in time.
It also led to Dr. Fujita kind of refining the way we determine uh, the how we rate tornadoes. That also derived from the 1974 super outbreak. So a lot of things happened due to that day. And they were taught. The reason I brought that up is if you ever watch Storm Stories on the 1974 super outbreak, there was a gentleman who was he worked in the National Weather Service out of Louisville. And he said, at this point, we're doing no good because we're giving warnings for towns that are being flattened after the fact it happened. And so, because of stuff like that, that is why we have now have a Skywarn program. And that is why it is so important to have people like that in the field, because what if a radar goes down like Nashville last January, not this past January, but 2 Januaries ago, or no,
We
this,
just had one go down in Florida this year in January, if I'm correct.
yeah. And so if you don't have eyes out there and a radar site goes down, you're leaving thousands of people potentially vulnerable to the elements without any way of updating
Very true. And one thing that a lot of people don't realize is anybody can actually become Skywarn trained for free. It is a totally free class you can take, whether you do it in person or right now I think they're basically doing all webinars, which is all online classes, but it's a couple hours out of your day, and you actually get certified. And to me, I always look at it this way: the more people that are certified and they're out there watching, the better off we are as a whole, and as a community, because we are safer that way.
them. Very true, Jeremy. And just to give you an idea, I know a lot of people have kind of gotten the idea. They've watched the Storm Chasers, and they follow Reed Timmer on Twitter and YouTube and all this. That is actually not what your role being a storm spotter is.
No.
You go and put yourself in a safe distance from the storm and you report what you see from a distance. They don't ask you to put yourself in the middle of a tornado. Um, if you know anything about Reed Timmer or Sean Casey, they had vehicles specifically designed to on a hydraulic system to drop themselves down, and even then it was still dangerously stupid. I mean, I mean, the one season when Reed the window bust out and they're all bleeding from the ears and the face, and so don't think that I know a lot of people got excited after that show came out and thought, well, hey, I can do that, and what they expect me to do. Nobody would ever ask you to put your life on the line like that. It's a very, believe it or not, it's a very safe thing to do. And it's a very helpful thing,
Mhm.
like Jeremy said, to do for your community because you could indirectly be saving lives and not even know it.
Very true. Very true. And yeah, I agree with you. When Storm Chasers, the TV show came out, um, I gotta say, Reed Timmer's enthusiasm and excitement, it's over the top. I love the guy, but I would never go into a tornado. I value my life, and I have kids that, and my significant other and my parents, everybody, they would be highly upset if something happened to me because I did something like that. But think about how useless we would be if we did go into a tornado, something happened to us, and well, it would do no good because we couldn't give them any readings on the wind speeds, anything of the sort. That's why you'll notice I've done multiple videos with me carrying around my hand anemometer. And if I'm correct, you just got one just last season, didn't you, Matt?
Yep. And the good thing about Ohio Weather Specialists, we're always upgrading our equipment. So at my house last year, we actually have a home weather station. And if you are weather nerds like us, if you really enjoy knowing at this specific location what the temperature is as opposed to across town, you can pull us up on Weather Underground and you can see exactly what the temperature, the wind speed, the barometric pressure, the humidity, how much rainfall we've had, all of that from our home weather station as well. So, we formed this team because we take weather safety very serious. It's a top priority for us. And, you know, we recommend everybody that is interested in weather, even if you don't go in the field, go take the class. It's useful information that can maybe help you with some things that you're unsure of. Like we get asked a lot, and I know Jeremy, same thing with you. Is what's the difference between a watch and a warning? You
Yep.
know, um, why do certain storms produce tornadoes, and why don't other ones? What like when people see the colors on the maps, the severe weather outlooks, well, what does that mean? They teach you all that in these classes. So I even if you have no desire to go out in the field, just so you can learn a little bit more about weather and storms and safety and all that, I recommend taking it just for the knowledge.
I agree with you there an awful lot. There are a lot of people that misunderstand storms themselves, and they get a lot of built up anxiety over storms. There's people out there that as soon as they hear, oh, there's rain or there's a possible storm coming, they get scared. Um, to be totally honest, if you would take one of these Skywarn classes, it would explain so much to you to where you would understand which storms to be more concerned about, which ones you really don't need to be concerned about. One thing Matt and I do quite a bit, I know this happens to him all the time, like it does myself. If we're out and about and it could be dark gray clouds, but we look at the the radar and we know it's going to be nothing but a small rain system, and that's all. People are looking at us going, "Hey, how bad is it going to be?" And we're looking, "How bad is what going to be?" the the big storm coming, and I'm like, no, we just got a little bit of rain coming. Yeah, we do get a lot of people stopping and ask us about, what's the weather going to be like? What does this mean? And, to validate what Matt said, yes, by taking the class, by taking the course, like I said, it's 100% free. So you're not spending a dime out of pocket at all to take this course. And all it's doing is giving you knowledge, something that you didn't have before. And even if you think you know it all, take it anyways, because there's always something in there that you don't know that you didn't know.
Um, just to get back on to the topic of Skywarn spotters, just to give you a little bit of information, and this is just one storm I know of. In my county, which is Van Wert County, we had an F4 tornado come through in 2002 and did a lot of damage. Actually, ended up killing 2 people in Van Wert County. I think it ended up killing 9 people in total. The city of Rose Elm, which is just into Paulding County, there was one building that didn't get knocked down. But to tell you a little bit about that day, we always say on severe weather days, if Wells County, Indiana gets hit, somewhere in Van Wert's going to get hit. 99% of the time, that holds true. So when Wells County, the storm that tracked into Van Wert, their EMA director called ours and said, "Hey, this is a bad storm. It that hasn't put a tornado down yet, but it will." And the second that he said that, our EMA director sent out Skywarn people to go to the state line. And because of that, it gave the people of Van Wert County 26 minutes of lead time. And just to let you know, our movie theater actually took a direct hit that day. And because of that 26 minutes of lead time, they were able to not have anybody die in that movie theater because it gave them enough time to get everybody into the safest part of the movie theater. And that was because of our EMA and our Skywarn spotters. So just to give you a story to show the actual importance of a Skywarn spotter, that is the one instance that I can think of off the top of my head.
Right. And one thing a lot of people don't realize as well as tornado sirens. Tornado sirens don't always work, but one thing that does is word of mouth. Um, when it comes to Skywarn spotters, if they do see a funnel cloud or something of the sort that is coming in to a certain county, township, um, they make sure they do go ahead and give the information or pass the information on to the officials that need to know, so that way they do have enough time, like you said, to make sure everybody is alert, just in case the sirens don't go off. Because if I'm correct, um, I almost want to say it was Montgomery counties that didn't go off. Which there was one of the outbreaks. Oh, I'm sorry. It was actually Xenia 1974. My gosh, I just remember we were talking about it so much lately.
Which is Greene County, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct. There, that when that stood, that tornado, the F5 hit Xenia in 1974. None of the sirens actually worked out of the ones that they had, which were very few. Most of the cities and townships and that did not have them. Even to this day, just because a town or a county has them does not mean that they are 100% operational at all times, which is where, like I say, storm spotters come in handy. They can feed off the information to the proper authorities that need to know, so they can make sure that everybody is warned properly.
That's correct, Jeremy. And to piggyback off of what you said, there are still a lot of counties in Ohio that will not sound tornado sirens until a storm moves into their county. Well, let's go back to our earlier conversation. If a storm is moving 55, 65 miles an hour, well, the second it hits the county line, you turn the sirens on. But, you know, it takes people sometimes a little bit to understand, like, you got the TV on in your house, but you're not watching the news, you're watching a sporting event or something. You kind of catch the tornado siren out of the corner, just faintly in your ear. By the time you realize what's going on, sometimes it's too late because it is already on your doorstep from the time they sound the siren. It is that quick sometimes in certain counties, like Van Wert County, for example. We are located, the easiest way to explain it, US 224, US 127, and US 30 all run right through Van Wert County. And that's heavy traffic that rolls through Van Wert County 24 hours a day. So if you're in your car, I mean, you're not always going to hear that siren in the car either. So, that is something, once again, uh, I know, like, Van Wert County, I think it's every storm ready county or whatever it is, they will throw out the sirens if they believe a storm is tracking into their area. So if it's, like I said, from Wells County up into Van Wert County, which it almost always does, they will throw the siren in Van Wert County by the time it hits like the edge of Wells County going into Adams County into Ohio. So, and that's all in Indiana. So, like I said, that gives us 25, 30 minutes of lead time. But, like you said, if a county one, they have problems with their sirens, like let's say power goes out, sometimes there are other storms that can roll through first, or, just say there's a wind, winds that are out in front of the gust front. You know, gust fronts can be worse than tornadoes sometimes, and so can RDF, but that's a story for another day. But if it knocks your power out, you don't have sirens at that point. So
no, that's another video for another time.
Yes, but I'm just saying, as far as uh, sirens are concerned, they're not 100%, foolproof. So
Exactly.
And the one other thing I will say is, I mean, it's a $20 investment that can save your life. Buy a NOAA weather radio. Do it.
Definitely worth it. Definitely worth it. You can go to your local Kroger's. And no, we don't have a sponsorship through any of them, but we do make sure that, hey, Kroger's, they sell them for right around $20. Kroger's does, Walmart does. Go to your local grocery store. They generally have your NOAA radios. It's a little NOAA weather radio. It'll send uh, a loud buzzing noise and a loud NOAA alert if there's a tornado warning or a watch and all of that. It does all that for you. So it's an extra advanced warning for you, and is great for gifts for the elderly as well. That way you can make sure mom, dad, grandma, grandpa are just safe.
You're right. We're not sponsored, but hey, shout out to Midland and Kroger if you want to hook us up with a sponsorship. We're here. We're ready to talk. But just to kind of give you, so we are going to do a whole series. This is the first part of the series. We're actually in contact with EMA directors, fire departments, sheriff's departments.
Yeah.
We're in talks with National Weather Service. We're trying to do a whole series. So basically, it starts sometimes with us, the Skywarn spotters, and then it goes, usually, I know in Van Wert County, the EMA director wants a call before you call the National Weather Service, unless it's like an absolute emergency. And then he will pass it on to National Weather Service. who passes it on to, well, they use their computer program that sends the alerts directly to your TV, radio stations, and all the online sources where you can get weather alerts.
Yes, you're very correct there. Like Matthew said, this is part one of many parts of our series that we're going to be doing on YouTube. It was a great idea that was brought up, and Matthew over here, right, right here, he's doing an excellent job. Yep, right there. He's doing an excellent job with the video and everything, and coming up with the information. And he's going to be doing some interviews with, like he said, some sheriffs, EMA directors, trying to get a hold of NWS and much more. Also, if anybody that's watching this has any weather related questions at all, please, please, please get in touch with us and ask us, because we will do a special if we need to answer them questions. Matthew just posted a question answer kind of video just a few hours ago from questions that people have asked us in the past. He went ahead and answered the questions for him. And we'll do them over and over and over again if we need to. Excuse me, boy, I just started stuttering. If we need to, so we can make sure everybody has all of their questions answered. But as Skywarn trained spotters, we are 24/7 on call. Anytime any kind of inclement weather comes in, does not matter if it's 12 a.m., 12 p.m., 2 a.m. We jump up and we go. We do what we need to do. But definitely, please make sure you guys follow our YouTube channel and all of our other social media channels. Matthew, you have all those addresses, don't you?
Yes, that's correct. And hey, listen, when we say like, subscribe, comment, it's not because we're looking to be millionaires off of doing what we do. We want you to follow us because if for some reason we are your source of weather, if you follow us, you will get notifications the second we go live. We post a video, anything that could be life saving for you. That's why we ask you to follow, not because we want to be internet famous, because if we did, we'd be doing all the TikTok challenges and all that stuff. But yeah, YouTube at Ohio Weather Specialist, Instagram, Ohio Weather Specialist, Facebook is also Ohio Weather Specialist, and Twitter is at OWS 2019. Please give us a like, a subscribe. Please interact with us. We always love hearing from people. We really do. And even Jeremy and I say it all the time. The only dumb question is the one not asked. So please, no matter how silly you feel about asking a question, reach out to us, because we will never treat you like you're dumb or anything for asking us a question.
Very true, Matt. Very true. My terminology is a closed mouth does not get fed. You can't get the answers to your questions if you do not ask. And remember, if you've got a question, there's at least 100 more people out there with the exact same question, just like you are afraid to ask that question. Just ask us, we'll answer away.
The other, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I was going to say the other thing we always ask too is if you guys have any pictures, videos that you want to share them to us. You'll get full photo credits. We will list your location, not your exact address, so people can come stalk you, just your city and your name, or if you want a Twitter and Instagram handle, whatever you want us to identify you as, you will get full credit. But we like to right now, with our team, we are in Van Wert County and Fayette County. So it would be great to have people all across the state of Ohio reach out to us and let us know what's going on weather-wise in their neck of the woods. Oh, did I
Very
sound like
true.
Al Roker there? What's going on in your neck of the woods?
What's going on in your neck of the
I
woods?
didn't even mean to didn't even mean to do that.
But yes, you are correct. We love getting pictures from all over Ohio, different weather events, whether it's a spring picture or winter picture. But yeah, make sure you send us some pictures and let us know how you want us to plug you in, whether it's your Twitter name, Twitter handle. I think it's called Twitter handle, not name. But whether it's your Twitter handle or your YouTube page, whatever, just let us know and we'll make sure we give you credit. And like Matthew said, we're not doing the YouTube videos and saying subscribe, like, and share because we want 10 billion followers and we want to be millionaires over this. No, that is far from what we're doing. We're doing this and telling people to subscribe, like he said. So that way you guys get notifications as soon as we add new stuff on, which is multiple times a week. So please, please, please make sure you keep your eyes on, or your eyes on. You, please make sure you keep your eyes open and your ears on.
That's right, Jeremy. And one last thing to just end the video on. And we say this a lot, but we really honestly mean this. Without us or without you, there is no us. There is no Ohio weather specialist. There's no reason for us to do this without you guys. You know, you're our reason why we do this. One, to keep you safe. Two, because we love to interact with people. And three, weather's fun. Weather can be the funnest thing that you can do if you want it to be, if you view it in the right way. And it's fun to see other like-minded people, you know, come we can come across in the snap of a finger on stuff like Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, where in person we might not get that chance. And especially right now with COVID, people don't want to meet with people. So, you know, that's another reason why we always say like, subscribe, comment, especially the comment thing. The, you know, DM us and, you know, slide into our DMs, you know, whatever, you know, you want to call it, whatever you want to say, get in contact with us so we can, you know, answer questions, so we can interact, so we can, you know, talk nerd talk, whatever the case may be. You know, we can't do that without you guys reaching out to us.
Very true. Very, very true.
Once again, my name is Matthew Jacobs, president of Media Relations.
And I am Jeremy Fabin, CEO and founder of Ohio Weather Specialist.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and you have a great night.
Good night, everybody.